Okay, this is the fourth time I'm going to restart this stream. Hopefully my viewers will find this. So we're talking about nose breathing versus mouth breathing, right? So, and the bottom line here is to to train yourself to have high level of CO2 in the lungs. So the question was, Dan, your exercises have a lot of mouth breathing coordinations in them. What should we do about that? I just did a long-winded explanation that got lost into the another verse. So anyway, to wrap it up and get to the exercises for today, it is great. Always, if you breathe out through the mouth and you're worried about blowing off too much CO2, that's also why I make noises. Like you'll always hear me go, because this works like a valve to prevent too much air from escaping at once. So when you're doing any of my exercises, if you don't want to mess with your nose breathing calibration, you can either keep the mouth shut and just try to survive, which we're going to do now, or you can use some of the the sounds when you breathe out. So that way you're basically blowing off less air. And the whole point is that the more aggressively you're exercising, you're producing more CO2 in the body, which is going to replenish everything you're blowing off. So the whole idea of having mouth breathing versus nose breathing, while it's great to maintain nose breathing at all times, is much more important to maintain nose breathing for the 23 hours and 30 minutes that you're not exercising. All right, so short answer, I would say, if you breathe through your mouth for half an hour while consciously exercising, it's probably not going to mess with your new system of nose breathing. Okay, but let's do the real work today. So we're going to tape the mouth shut and we're going to do some exercise only limited to nose breathing. Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. Super, super cool. What a great idea to try this. Okay, so since this is a response video, I'm not gonna, you can continue to exercise. Most of you know my moves by now. But boy, did I learn a lot having this tape on my mouth, right? One, I think the kernel of the, or the nugget inside of the question is, why do I use breathing coordinations, right? Why am I such a stickler for always pushing the air out and things like that? And that all has to do with training the core. So I would say that even if you use all of my same patterns and keep your mouth shut, the reason you need to try to force the breath out, even if it's through the nose, is because this causes the stomach and everything to come in and up, and to train the abs while we move. And this creates a much more holistic and stabilizing exercise routine in the gentle parameters that we're usually working in, right? So these exercises aren't crazy, but if you want to get strong abs while you do it, you need to work harder than you would normally with the breath. If you just want to avoid having any air through the mouth because you're trying to change that habit, it's honestly better to have the tape on. What you end up finding is that the body wants to take a longer inhale when you're shorter breath, but it's just as easy to blow the air out through the nose. In fact, it's probably going to continue to clear everything, right? I would say the ideal pattern would be a nice, long, slow breathe through the nose, soaking up all the nitrous oxygen. And then when you feel like it's time to go, power the air out through the nose. That forced expiration is basically what all my breathing coordinations are about. I just also like to sometimes get super lightheaded and have fun, and I get bored with the same thing, so I use different noises, or things like this, right? So again, the whole point is to, when you're not exercising, breathe through the nose so you keep a high level of CO2. When you're exercising, you're going to be mass producing CO2 anyway, so you can be a little bit more lenient with it. However, if you're trying to train yourself aerobically because you have problems with the cardiovascular system or just want to get in better shape, definitely taking your mouth shut on an elliptical is like #1 way to go, because you'll always stay in the right training range. You could think of it as a heart rate monitor. You see people use the heart rate monitor, they want to stay in a certain zone. That's just a reflection of how well you can keep up with the demand. And your nose is supposed to be the regulator, right? So have fun. You can literally retake any of my classes with your mouth tape, and I think it'll be a whole new experience, right? If some of the breathing coordinations don't quite work out, for example, it's very hard to do holotropic breathing through the nose. If you go, the problem is you just can't ventilate enough to make yourself lightheaded. So that's part of the problem there. So if you're using those techniques, yeah, you're going to have to heave through the mouth and just blow off a bunch of CO2. If you want to get in super shape, feel calm, tape your mouth shut. It's super serene. I wasn't expecting it to be as comfortable as it was, but definitely worth trying. I think if next video I do, if I'm doing a general exercise, I'm going to definitely keep my mouth taped. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Sorry about the mix up at the beginning of this. My stream cut out, and then I lost the intro I wrote like 4 times, and I was just, okay. So anyway, we got it in. I'll probably update the description later. Thank you to our fan, SK, for sending in the email request. And keep them coming, and I'll see you guys when I have time in between patients, okay? See you later. Bye-bye.